Hey, don't eat eggs. Eggs are bad for you. They're going to clog your arteries. They have too much cholesterol. Or is it the incredible edible egg? Which one is it? Guys, have you been struggling, wondering if eggs are actually good for you or bad for you? How many should you eat? Should you eat a little? Should you eat a lot? Well, guys, in this video, I'm going to give you the top 9 benefits of eggs. Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick, where my purpose is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and more abundant lives. And guys, if you love what we're talking about today, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you click that bell notification so you get notified every single time I do a video. And guys, if you've been wondering if you should be eating eggs or not, or how many you should be eating, and if you should include it in your daily diet, and if it's safe and healthy for you, stick around to the end and I'll let you know. But let's jump in with the top 9 benefits of eggs. Hey, spoiler alert, they're good, okay? So just stick along, stick with us because we're gonna give you all the benefits of why you should be eating eggs probably every single day. Number 1 is that they're extremely nutritious. I mean, you've seen the commercials. When I was growing up as a kid, they had the incredible edible egg commercials. Well, they are absolutely incredible. They're probably one of the most perfect foods. So, they contain almost every single nutrient you need. Pastured eggs even more beneficial because the grass that the chickens are eating, it really helps the eggs become more orange. And if you live out in the countryside like I do, or at least somewhat the countryside, the suburbs, we have a lot of people around us that have pasture-grown eggs and are always selling them over by their house and in their yard and so on. The ones you get from the pasture are always so orange because the chickens are eating grubs, they're eating worms, they're eating grass, they're eating things that they're supposed to eat, not chicken feed and not their own waste products like you see in your typical anemic store-bought eggs. So I don't mean to tell you don't get eggs of any kind unless you can get pastured, but you know what? If you can, they're going to be a lot better. Well, anyway, these eggs are more nutrient dense, containing higher amounts of omega-3 fat, which is exactly what you want. It's very anti-inflammatory. It's very healthy for your arteries and very healthy for your heart, along with vitamins A and E. Not only that, it's loaded, like I said, with vitamin A, vitamin B12, B5, B2, and B6. So many of the B vitamins you will find in eggs. Folate, phosphorus, selenium. Selenium's super important when it comes to detox. Vitamin D, vitamin E, calcium, and zinc. And of course, many trace minerals. But one thing I love about it so much is if you plug the egg into one of your apps that you can get on your phone, either the MyPlate app or MyFitnessPal app, you'll see one of these wheels. And these wheels really show you the composition of the egg, how much fat in it, how much protein in it. And it is, like I said, about the perfect combination we're looking for. 65% of it is fat, 35% of it is protein, and no carbs. So in my book, that's a pretty perfect food. I'm not saying you never need carbs, but when you come home at night and you're looking for something quick and easy to make that is super nutritious and super dense in nutrients, the egg pretty much tops them all. Number 2, high quality protein. Eggs are among the most bioavailable proteins that you can possibly use. The highest are typically egg protein and whey protein. They're utilized in the body much better than the other ones, but egg is pretty much the gold standard when it comes to bioavailability of protein. Eggs are an excellent source of protein with a single egg containing 6 grams of it. Each egg also contains all the essential amino acids in high ratios, so your body's well equipped to make full use of the protein in them. And of course, eating enough egg protein will help with weight loss, increasing muscle mass, lowering blood pressure, and optimizing bone health. So I don't know if you can get enough eggs in your diet. I eat a lot. Now, a lot of people would say, well, Dr. Nick, aren't you worried about the cholesterol? We're going to get into that in just a little while. But no, I'm not worried about the cholesterol. I can eat upwards of 4 to 12 eggs a day. I'm not worried about it at all. Some of you might think I'm irresponsible, but nah, not at all. I've been doing it for a long time, and my numbers are great. Well, number 3, it doesn't adversely affect your blood cholesterol. So there you go, okay? It doesn't adversely affect it at all. Yes, eggs do have cholesterol, but if you watch some of my other videos where I talk about cholesterol, 80% of the cholesterol that's in your body right now, your liver made. Only 20% comes from your diet. Your body will always regulate it depending on how much you take in from your diet. You'll either kick in more from your liver or less, but your liver is the biggest component when it comes to making cholesterol. And also check out some of the other videos I did on cholesterol. You'll find that cholesterol is actually super beneficial. It's not the villain you think it is. It's not causing heart disease. There is zero proof, zero, between whether cholesterol causes heart disease, low cholesterol doesn't cause heart disease. There's no proof either way. So use eggs and do not worry about your cholesterol. Anyway, back to this. 70% may have a mild rise in blood cholesterol levels. Okay, so that's a hypo-responder. The hyper-responders, yeah, you've got about 30% that are going to have a little bit of a rise or a larger rise, but still not too worried about it. Cholesterol used to never be an issue many, many years ago until a drug company started getting involved and made more and more drugs to battle cholesterol. The problem is, guess what? Your brain's got a lot of cholesterol in it. About 25% of all the cholesterol in your body is in your brain. So you need it. We need cholesterol in our bodies. And there's lots of different reasons for that. Like I said, check out some of those other videos I did on it. But these are your hyper responders. About 30% of you will have a bump, will have an increase in your cholesterol. But once again, it doesn't mean it's bad, okay? And by the way, HDL and LDL, they're not cholesterol, okay? Those are carrier molecules. The cholesterol, think of it like it's in boats, and the boats are HDL. LDL, the cholesterol of the people in the boats. The boats are not the cholesterol, okay? So think of it that way. Number 4, reduces your risk of heart disease. Number 4, raises HDL, and I'm going to say it, although I don't really always believe this, raises your good cholesterol. Now, I will tell you this, in my other videos I talk about on cholesterol, like I've said before, there's HDL and LDL, once again, aren't cholesterols. But it's always labeled that HDL is the good one, LDL is the bad one. It's not. It's just that HDL gets all the press and all the fanfare, because what it does is it goes around and scavenges and cleans up all the cholesterol that's unused, that's around the bloodstream and in the arteries, and takes it back to the liver for processing. So, in the minds of the people who are all-knowing, they believe that the HDL is the better because it clears the body of the cholesterol that's not being used. But once again, LDL is used to make hormones. So, ladies especially, you know how beneficial that is. So, eggs contain Eating eggs is a great way to increase LDL. In one study, eating 1 to 3 eggs daily for 4 weeks increased HDL levels by as much as 13% in young, healthy adults. All right, so great. Increase HDL, always a good thing, because HDL does help the body, like I said, clean up the cholesterol, bring it back to the liver for processing, but that's only because now we can reuse it. All right, the body prizes cholesterol. So anytime we can save it and utilize it again, in my book, that does make HDL very, very good, but not the good in reference to a bad cholesterol. All right, people who have higher levels of HDL usually have lower risk of heart disease, stroke, and other health problems. Why? Because when it clears it out of the arteries, the cholesterol that's left in the arteries that are what we call the small dense particles, they oxidize and they will clog the arteries. But LDL also comes in large fluffy ones. Like I said, if you really want to know about this a lot, check out the other videos I did on it, where I get into HDL, LDL, and really how all this works. And number 5, reduce risk of heart disease. How does it do that? Well, eggs appear to change the size of the LDL particles from the small dense kind to the large fluffy kind. So think of it like this, guys. LDL particles are different sizes. Anything below 25 nanometers, and not that you need to remember that kind of number, but they're small dense ones. The small dense ones, basically what they can do is they can get inside the walls of the arteries and they oxidize. When they stick inside the walls, and what happens is they basically get and wedge themselves inside these grooves. Now, what makes those grooves? Processed refined carbohydrates, or carbohydrates in general. Carbs etch grooves into the walls of the arteries. These particles, these small dense ones, can wedge into the walls, and when they stay there, they build up a plaque and they oxidize. Now, what eggs do is eggs can make the particles large and fluffy. The large fluffy kind float around and bounce around the arteries and they just go in and out. They're too big to wedge. So if you get the large fluffy kind, and that's why it's so important to know your particle numbers and particle size, not just your total cholesterol. Total cholesterol means nothing. Think of it this way. If you're thinking of traffic outside, does it matter how many people are outside or how many cars are outside? Well, it matters how many cars. You could have 10 people in a car. It's not going to matter. Or you could have one person in a car or two. It's the amount of cars on the road that dictate the traffic. Well, what dictates the problem in the arteries? It's the particle size and particle number. You get a lot of these little small dense ones. That's what starts to clog up the arteries because, like I said, it wedges into the walls of the arteries. These large fluffy ones float harmlessly through the bloodstream. So just because you have LDL cholesterol does not matter unless you know the particle number and the particle size. Are they small dense ones or are they big fluffy ones? Anyway, I don't want to beat that up. But if eggs tend to mildly raise LDL cholesterol in some people, it's thought that eating eggs tend to mainly increase large or more buoyant, the large fluffy ones, LDL levels instead of the small dense LDL particles, which may explain the association with the reduced risk of heart disease. So once again, eat eggs. The cholesterol is not going to mess you up. It's not going to hurt you. In fact, if anything, it could actually help convert the small dense particles to the large fluffy ones. Number 6. Lowers triglycerides. Another reason why eggs are so good at preventing heart disease. You lower triglycerides, which, by the way, triglycerides are stored sugars. So you want to lower your triglycerides right away. The easy way, lower the carbs. Don't eat as many carbs because the excess carbs, the carbs you don't burn, your body has to store it. It stores carbs as fat. Those are called triglycerides. But the omega-3 in rich pastured eggs may contain significant amounts of omega-3 fatty acids. Eating these types of eggs is an effective way to reduce triglycerides. So if you don't do it by simply reducing the amount of sugars in your diet, which I highly recommend, eat more eggs and that will help reduce it too. Well, number 7 is it contains choline. Choline is a very important nutrient and is often grouped in with the B vitamins. So choline is used to build cell membranes and has a role in producing signaling molecules of the brain along with various other functions. Symptoms of choline deficiency are serious. So fortunately, it's rare in most healthy non-pregnant people, mainly because the body makes choline. Whole eggs are an excellent source of choline. A single egg contains more than 100 milligrams of this necessary important nutrient. So guys, the cell membrane is the single most important part of the cell. I know you think it's the DNA. That's what you've been led to believe. That's the brains of the cell. It's not. It's just the blueprints inside the cell. The most important part of the cell is the cell membrane because this dictates what goes on in the outside environment of the cell and it dictates what goes on in the inside environment of the cell. So think of it like you take a bag and you fill it with water. The cell membrane is the plastic Ziploc bag. The water inside is called cytoplasm, and then of course you have all the other what we call organelles inside of a cell. But that membrane is the most important part because that lets the cell know inside what it has to make and produce to adapt to the outside environment. So it lets everything inside here know what it has to produce to adapt to its outside external environment. Number 8 contains lutein and zeaxanthin. Now, what are those? Well, they're important molecules that have to do with how well your eyes function. Eggs contain large amounts of both lutein and zeaxanthin, a powerful antioxidant that accumulates in the retina of the eye. Studies show that they help counteract some of the degenerative processes that affect our eye, such as cataracts and macular degeneration. So guys, if you have elderly parents or if you're elderly yourself, start eating more eggs because of the powerful antioxidant properties they have because they contain lutein and zeaxanthin. Each egg also in high in vitamin A, which vitamin A deficiency is the most common cause of blindness. We said that way back in the beginning, that they're very, very rich in vitamin A, which vitamin A, like it says here, is the most common cause of blindness anywhere in the world. So eat more eggs. Number 9 is weight loss. Yes, Eggs are very satisfying, they're very satiating, and because of that, you tend to eat less later on in the day. Eggs are very high in a satiety index, which measures the ability of foods to cause feelings of fullness and later calorie intake. So by eating more eggs, especially earlier on in the day, like an omelet, you're going to eat less throughout the day. In one study of 50 overweight and obese adults, eating eggs and toast instead of cereal and milk with an orange juice. And by the way, I'm still not crazy about the toast part and the orange juice because of the amount of carbs there and the amount of fruit sugar that's just right in that orange juice. There is absolutely no fiber in it. All it is straight juice, which is going to cause fatty liver disease. But this decreases the feelings of hunger following the meal, prolonged the period of not being hungry, and made them eat 180 calories less at lunch 4 hours later. So yeah, even though they had things like toast and they had the orange juice with it, which once again, I would opt for not doing that. I would make a nice omelet with some healthy grass-fed cheese, put in maybe some really healthy kind of sausage, maybe made out of chicken or made out of turkey sausage, things like that, and put those inside of it, make yourself a great omelet. You will be full for hours and hours and hours. But still, this study showed that they ate 180 calories less in their lunch 4 hours later. So it did help with satiety. In another study, eating eggs was associated with a 38% lower risk of excess body fat and 34% lower risk of central obesity. That's that body fat right around your waist. That's that visceral fat, which is the worst. In fact, I did a video on belly fat and just how dangerous it is because that visceral fat gets around your organs. So that visceral fat around your abdominal area, which is known as a risk factor for metabolic syndrome. In fact, I did a video on metabolic syndrome. I don't mean to keep promoting my videos, but I did a lot of really good ones on all of this kind of stuff. That'll help explain it a lot deeper than I am now, and I don't want you to miss out on that. Anyway, guys, start eating your eggs. They are the incredible edible egg, just like the commercial said when I was a kid. I highly recommend. How much should you eat? Well, let's talk about that. Well, eat as many as you like, right? Just eat as many as you like. I love to come home after work, and if I don't feel like really making a dinner for the family and all, and maybe I get home a little bit later from seeing patients, I'll make some eggs, and I might just have, say, 4 eggs. I might put a little bit of nutritional yeast with it. I might just, of course, season it up with or drizzle some olive oil on top, or make some coconut oil and cook it in coconut oil. You have to be careful, though. This is what I definitely recommend. You have to be careful not to over fry the egg. You don't want to get it to where it's crispy. Yeah, it tastes really good, but you are damaging some of the vital nutrients in it. So you want to soft cook it, soft boiled eggs. A hard boiled egg is okay. Eggs over easy. If you are going to fry an egg, keep it at a lower heat. Don't get it where it really crisps the egg, then turn it over so where it's like an over easy egg. Poached eggs, fantastic, especially if you can poach it in water. People have these poaching type of cups that sit down in water, but I'm talking about if you can poach it in actual water where the chefs do, where they mix it with basically a water and vinegar solution. They let the egg set in that for a little while, and then they scoop it out and put it into some boiling water that's been salted, and the egg will just stay intact, and the white will cook around it, and when you cut into it, it just oozes beautifully. Anyway, that's a Chef Ramsay thing. But that's probably the best way to do it because you're saving the most of the nutrients because you're cooking the egg very gently. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hey, if you've got health issues and you're looking for help, stick around for a little bit longer. I've got a video at the end of this that'll help answer some of your questions, and it'll help you out if you're looking for help with other metabolic problems or things like diabetes. Anyway, guys, I love and appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Take care. This is Dr. Nick, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, guys, I just want to take a moment to speak with you. You know, so many of you are struggling, you're suffering, whether it be with weight loss or weight issues. You're struggling with diabetes or heart disease or any other type of metabolic disorder. Well, you're not alone. Right now, there's over 133 million people who are struggling with diabetes or prediabetes. More than 78% of our population is overweight, and the majority of them are actually obese. Well, guys, there's no shortage of information out there. There's information everywhere. In fact, it's daunting. It's like drinking water from a fire hose, and you're thinking, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's out there, what's true, what's not true, who to believe, who not to believe. And actually, it's so much information, it's so hard to process. But the important thing to realize is, although there's information out there, there's no transformation. There's so much information. We have things you can Google, you can YouTube, you can look up anywhere. There's no shortage of gyms, yet we still have so many of our population that is sick and struggling with health issues with no answers in sight. And once again, like I said, there's information, but no transformation. And guys, it's all about transformation. And that's what we'd like to do for you, is to help you transform your body, to help you live the life that God created you to be. So many of you have a sole purpose that you know you're not fulfilling because you don't feel well, or your head hurts, or your body aches, or you just don't have enough energy to take on the day. Well, guys, what we're offering you is opportunity to get some help. Don't try to figure this out on your own. There's so much information. It's so hard to figure it all out on your own. Well, you don't have to. If you want more information about how we can help you, just click the link down below. I put a link in the description box that'll take you to a webinar. You can watch the webinar, and if it makes sense to you, if it resonates with you, if it vibes with you, and if you really feel it's in your heart to look into it further, at the end of the webinar, it gives you an option to schedule a call with me. We'll get on a call, we'll laugh, we'll cry, we'll find out what's working and not working in your health. We'll find out what your health goals are. Really, where do you want to go with your health if you can have optimal health? And if I can help you achieve that, I'll show you what that looks like. If not, that's okay too. I'll do the best I can to steer you in the right direction as to what serves you the best. But it all starts with you raising your hand, clicking the link and going to the webinar, and then scheduling a call. From there, like I said, we'll figure out if we can help you. If not, my goal is to give you clarity, but more importantly, to give you the next action steps that you need to be taking to regain your health. So guys, I look forward to speaking with you. I love and appreciate you, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye-bye.